4 speakers in this session, and the first speaker is Charlie Brown, I kid you not, who is the Environment Manager for IKEA over here. We have Angus Robertson, who is founder and CEO of Power Perfecta, who saved 21 million in energy costs for large companies quite recently. We've got Angus Robertson, Mark Parker. What a brilliant sharing. Mark Parker is director of Aztec, and you'll hear more about them. And then finally, Amy Fetzer over here is writing a book called Climb the Green Ladder, all about how businesses can go green. So we will finish with her, which will lead us into a discussion about, okay, we've heard some really interesting examples. Now, how do we do it? And how far is all this really making a difference? So I'm going to take the speakers in that order. Each speaker I'm going to ask to speak for about 7 to 9 maximum minutes. And at about 7 minutes, I will be waving this red biro at them. And I'm going to take all 4 and then invite questions to all of them. I hope that's okay with you. So that will give us more time for proper discussion at the end rather than individual Q&As. So, if I'm going to start with the Environment Manager for IKEA, I think this is one company who I really don't need to say very much about. I'm sure most people here have in the last week been in a room where there's been some IKEA equipment of some nature. So, and I could imagine that a company as large as IKEA, dealing with as many different wood products, has quite a few interesting environmental issues to talk about. So, take it away, Charlie.
It's a pleasure to be here this afternoon and be taking part of this UK Aware event. And it was great to see the promotion that's been given. It was on Sky News last night with the electric car. I don't know if people saw that. For myself, well, Charlie Brown, I should explain to start with, is a nickname, not an accident of birth. I was christened Anthony John, but some time in the armed forces gave me a nickname, and it's kind of stuck with me all the way through. I've been with IKEA for 13 years now, and much of that time I've been involved in environmental issues, starting off really at the coalface of dealing with environmentalism in our stores. Sometimes I'm not really sure about how to describe my role, whether I'm an environmentalist masquerading as a retailer or a retailer masquerading as an environmentalist. For those of you that didn't know, IKEA is a home furnishings company. And as a business, we want to be the leading home furnishings company in that market. Anders Dalvig, who's our current CEO, he made a comment on leadership recently, and he said, to lead in this day and age is not just a matter in leading in market share, sales growth and such matters. I believe that we must also stand out as a trustworthy and responsible company in order to claim true leadership. But this direction isn't about greenwashing our company. As an environmentalist, I really believe that in the UK market, IKEA can and does make a difference. We believe that leadership isn't about stating what we're intending to do, but about sharing with people what we are actually doing, and that's why we get involved in events like this. We also believe that we can do good business while being a good business. We can be a successful company, support our bottom line profits, and do the right thing to address our company's environmental impacts. As a Swedish-based company, we have targets that are set in our UK, in the UK operation, which often come from existing standards in other European countries, and they far exceed what we're challenged with in the UK. And to implement those in the UK marketplace can be a challenge in its own right. As an environmental manager, I actually look forward to coming to these potentially Lion's Den type events, because I'm secure in the knowledge that I can take any question from the floor. Because I'm a generalist, and if I don't know the answer, I'll be able to talk to somebody within our supply chain, because we secure that right the way back to the forest. So you can ask me a technical question about forestry, and I can talk to one of the 17 foresters that we actually employ directly to deal with our forest suppliers. You can ask me a question about packaging, and I can talk to one of our packaging technicians in Sweden who works with the individual packaging solution. So actually, what are we doing in the UK? Well, on recycling and waste, this month in 2009, we've got an average in-store recycling level of 85%, which sounds great, and it is great, but actually the target that I'm given by IKEA International is 90% in-house recycling. And we do have actually some stores that are at 95%. And when you put that into comparison with average household recycling of about 25 or 35%, you can see that we're achieving some good stuff there. But we estimate that we're saving over £1 million a year in waste disposal costs as a result of those actions. So every year there's £1 million going onto our bottom line. 50% of the range that we sell in our stores is wood or wood fibre. So we actually put in waste to energy units, which are helping to heat some of our stores. And when you get to those kind of smaller levels of recycling that's left, you're dealing with the more difficult stuff, which things like in-store food waste and stuff like that. So we're looking at pilots. We've got 2 pilot stores running to actually deal with in-store food waste, to actually get to zero waste stores. We're going to combine that actually with an education program for our co-workers and our customers on food issues. Since 2007, June 2007, we phased out the use of one-use plastic carrier bags at our checkouts. And for people that know about the debate, they're only about 2% of the waste stream, but they're very iconic. You only have to see the amount of bags that are littering the streets and in trees and stuff. So we actually made a decision to do that by charging 5p a bag. We started that in 2005. Operationally, we immediately save £400,000 on operational costs by getting rid of 32 million bags that we were giving away. Now, we're a small player in that market. If you look at the big supermarkets, they give it away an awful lot more. But we made it cost neutral by giving all of the profits that on the charges to a forest charity. It actually made our stores more efficient. We had less bags to put out at the checkouts. They cleaned them up. And actually, the American organisation copied in entirety our initiative in the UK, and they saw exactly the same results. And if you've been to the States, you know how service orientated they are. They were really worried about what the customers would think, but actually the customers embraced it. On transport, we think there's a huge business opportunity getting more people to our stores by public transport, especially in metropolitan areas. 40% of Londoners don't have access to a car. And we've got a project running with the Mayor's Office, TfL and Brent Council, and we've just recently introduced a free shuttle service from Stonebridge Park to get to Wembley. It's great to see Honda here. We changed 2 years ago our entire vehicle fleet to Honda hybrids. And again, that worked out as cost neutral. The savings we make on petrol, tax and insurance have actually made that a quick payback. And all the stores are working with a transport toolbox. To deliver customers and co-workers to our stores, we wanted to move away from the kind of large and unwieldy publications that we got produced by external consultants with data on particulate emissions and in-depth environmental impact assessments that retailers frankly didn't understand. It's a very simple, implementable toolbox that a retailer in a store can work with. And then finally, onto the discussion on energy consumption and energy reduction. Based on studies in 2006, IKEA International made a decision that we would move towards the direction of using 100% renewable energy in all our units and reducing our energy consumption by 25%. On energy conservation, those targets potentially make a huge operational cost benefit of about £2 million to our UK operation. And as energy prices continue to rise, those savings will increase. In-depth surveys that we did of our stores actually showed that some of the quick fixes that we could do would actually have a payback of days rather than years. Sourcing renewable energy. This goal will involve investment in on-site, the use of wind, solar and ground source heating or wood-burning technologies. Our European cousins have stolen a march on us here with the subsidies that they receive from central government. It's really difficult to get a payback on the investment requests, even though IKEA has moved normally a payback is 3 to 5 years that you'd expect on an investment. We've moved it on energy efficient technologies to 13 years and still we can't get a payback on certain technologies. But new stores are having as a first fit renewable energy such as wood burning, ground source heating systems and rainwater harvesting. On rainwater harvesting we can save up to I think it's something like 20 or 30,000